Hey guys, this is Techco Freak here, and welcome to episode 19 of my Let's CS custom story creation tutorial for Amnesia. And today we're going to be working on sound effects. We're going to learn to use a sound effect and learn to first we're going to have to change to we're going to have to link that certain sound effect, and after we link it to a separate file, you guys will get what I mean at the end of the episode, by the end of the episode, and we'll play it in our custom story. I'm not sure where I want to play a sound effect. I don't really see need to right now, but I'll probably come up with some random example for you guys, and then I will probably implement it later when we do things like jump scares, which sound effects are essential. I know a lot of people want to learn that. So yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's come up with where we want to put a sound effect. The sound effect we want to play on the player. So we're gonna play the sound effect right on top of the player. You can play it anywhere else. I'll explain to you how you do that. But we want to know where we're gonna play the sound effect. I'm thinking maybe after we pick up the note, maybe at the same time it plays the message. We'll do that, and maybe also at the script area over here that creates the timer. Maybe we'll play something there too. Just reusing the script areas. You remember, you guys can also create your own script areas and do the same thing. But I'm being a bit lazy here and just using the ones I have for demonstration. Makes the video a bit quicker, and you guys don't have to watch a 40-minute video, which I'm trying not to do. I'm trying to make the episodes less than 30 minutes. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get started. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a sound effect after the player picks up that note, and then a sound effect after he steps into this area. Well, when he steps into that area. Yeah, so now let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, let's go to the root of our we can go to maps and templates, and you can see that there's already an episode 19 HPS file, and also in the web links you can find the link to the episode 19 HPS file, so you can view online. This will also be the description as usual, and you guys might actually want to download the custom story this time, or if you guys you might not, actually you won't have to. I'm going to show you guys how to basically create this file right here. So this is the template I put down. If you guys download the custom story, you guys can use this template without a problem. If not, you guys will have to create one. I will show you how to create this template so you can use for your sound effect. So first of all, we need a sound effect, and if you guys download my template for the custom story, you guys should already have this one called Creepy Sound Sud. That's meant to say Creepy Sound Sud in one. Just in case I had two, I just put a 1 there. Let's go ahead and drag this over to Audacity and see what it sounds like. So let's go ahead and play it. So just a pretty creepy sound effect that's pretty cool, I would say. Good one to get started with. You guys will have to go around looking for your own sound effects. The game does provide its own sound effects, which I probably won't show in this episode, but same way I showed you to play the music, just go and then look through sounds. Instead of going to the music folder, you can go to the sound folder. You can look through all the sounds they have, and you can play any sounds they have. They have sound effects for screaming, sound effects for the Iron Maiden, lots of sound effects that you guys can use. So you can just go to the root of your Amnesia installation, and go to sounds, the sound folder. You can find a bunch of sounds that have this format right here that are .snt, which is the one you're going to use. Again, I haven't gotten to the coding part yet, so this will make sense by then. So yeah, so that's the sound effect we're going to be using in our custom story. And over here, and then over here, we want to create an SNT file for this sound right here. So I'm going to show you how to do that without using this template, but I am going to copy something from this template. So let's go ahead and right click, and we want to do new and then text document. And when you name, actually this is probably not the best method to go about doing this. Sorry about that. I probably want to use Notepad++. Let's go ahead and and put this over here. I'm gonna click this one right here to create a new file, and then I'm going to open this up. Actually, without even opening that up, you guys can go over to the episode 19 HPS file, and as you can see, I included these things right here, these lines of code, and this is what the SNT file contains, and this is what we want to do. So if you guys go, you can follow that link online or download this version of the custom story, and you can find this. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy this and bring it over to the new file we created. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it. Next, I want to change the sound file name. I'm going to go ahead and remove this and put in the name of our sound effect. So our sound effect is Creepy Sound Sud1, and it's a .ogg extension. So we want to do that. Remember, all sound files have to be .ogg. So if you create one, make sure you save it as a .ogg. So let's go ahead and remove this part right here, and type in creepy sound and then sud1.ogg, and that pretty much points this file, or the file that we're making right now, to this one right here. And then there's some properties you guys can play around with here. There's volume. So the volume is currently 20. The minimum distance that they can hear it, max distance they can hear it from. A lot of cool effects. A lot of cool things you can mess around with here. I'm leaving the default already. I'm already leaving the default, which I think is alright. You guys can tinker with it depending on how you feel it is in your custom story. So before you modify any of these, just try this certain one, and if you think it needs modification, then come back here and go ahead and edit these values here to your liking. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave these defaults, and this is gonna stay the way it is up here. I already changed that. So now we're gonna go ahead and save it. So I'm gonna hit Control S to save, and it's gonna prompt me where I want to save it. I'm gonna go up to my sounds folder. Remember, if you guys don't have a sound folder, create one. If you guys didn't download my template, just create a sounds folder and you should be good. Okay, so now you want to, here where it says save as type, you want to change this to be all types. And then for the file name, you want to name it. I believe it's not required, but it's recommended that you name it. It's just custom that you name it the same as your OGG file, the actual sound file. So I'm gonna go ahead and name it the same as my OGG file. So it's gonna be creepy sound sud1, and then I'm gonna put the extension .snt, and then I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And there it goes. We have creepy sound sud1.snt. And that's all there is to making that file. I'm going to go ahead and bring over the template so we can show you that that's pretty much the same thing as the other one. This is just soundfile.ogg. And you guys can just keep using this one and then do file save as, and you can keep making more for every new sound effect. Remember, you need to make one for every sound effect. So so you need to make sure you have that. So that's done. We don't need to do anything around there anymore. This is pretty much done. Remember, every time you make a new sound effect, you gotta make sure you do that, or else the sound effect won't play. And now we can actually get to the coding part of this. So let's go ahead and I'll go over to our HPS file for our map. And here, as you can see, we have all the code for from the previous episodes, and we want to play the sound effects. Let me bring up the level editor again. We want to play the sound effects after we pick up this note here. The note is called Note 01, and we want to play a sound effect here in the Create Timer Area 1, and we want to play a sound effect there too. So remember, these are just temporary for me to demonstrate to you guys. You guys can use it however you want. It doesn't have to be this way. So let's go ahead and start by making the one for the note, and then we'll move over to the one to the Create Timer Area. So remember, this is Note 01. Let's go ahead and minimize this. If you recall, we already made a set entity player interact callback for the node 01. So when the player interacts with this note, there will be a callback. So basically, you will run a function. And this function down here is called note message 1. Let's go down and find it, and note message 1, and then this is what's going to happen after the player picks up that note. And I'm losing. Okay, here it goes. And yeah, so here in this area is where we want to play the sound effect at the same time he picks up the note. So let's go ahead and make some space here and go over to the episode 19.hps file. And we want to copy down here where it says play sound at entity. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and bring it over to our room 01 and paste it right in here. And we should probably talk about these parameters. The first parameter is the internal name of the sound. So this can be left blank. It's just for your own reference, so you know what it is. So this is up to you. I'm going to leave it blank, so no need to put anything. This is the file, the sound effect with the extension .snt. The reason why we had to go and make this certain file type right here. So let's go ahead and fill that in. We're going to go ahead and type in creepy sound sud1.snt, and that should go ahead and grab this one right here that we created. And now this parameter here, the third parameter, is where you want the sound effect to be played. We want the sound effect to be played right on top of the player. This is the entity where you want it to be played. Remember, it's the entity. So the player is an entity, and we want the sound to be played on that entity. So that's where the sound's going to be played. You can even play it behind it, like in a table behind the door or something, so it sounds more distant from the player. But that's really up to you. Where you want to do it. I'm going to pick the player because I want the sound effect to play right in the player's ear. The next parameter is, I believe, the fade out time it takes for the sound to fade out. But this is not the way you would want to go about doing that, because you probably want to have this set to 0, because if this is set to more than 0.1, the any enemies on the map will automatically head towards that sound. So the enemies can also hear the sound that's played. So if a sound is played and the enemy hears it, he'll start walking towards it. And if this is set to more than 0.1, then he will notice. So you want to avoid putting anything higher than that. So I just say you leave it by default 0. Sound effects typically don't have to be faded out, but it's up to you. Again, it's up to you guys how you're going to use it. And the final parameter here is whether or not the sound should be saved. And seems like a good idea to do, but this is typically only used for when you loop sounds. When you loop sounds, you will probably want to set this to true. It's the only real applicable time to set this to true. So you probably want this set to false, because most of the time you're not going to be playing sound effects over and over and over again. But if you are, for whatever reason, you should probably set this to true, so the game will memorize the sound file. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to playing the sound. And let's go ahead and do that for the create timer area. So let's go ahead and just copy this. And if you recall, there's a add entity collide callback between the player and between the create timer area 1. And if they collide, then the function create timer will run. If we go down, we can find that create timer function right here. And this is set to stop the music from the previous episode, to set a message, and to add a timer to spawn an enemy. So in the midst of all of this, we also want to play a sound effect at the same time the music fades, I believe. So let's go ahead and do play sound at entity. It's going to be the same sound on the player as well. And this is again just for demonstration to show you guys that you can play the sound at any point in the custom story. These are two examples where I think it'd be most useful, used in a script area, or used in after a player picks up an item. when the player picks up an item, typically people like to do jump scares and stuff like that, which I will probably be showing you pretty soon. We're almost done learning the essentials we need to make it up to jump scares. I know a lot of people want to see that, so I'll probably keep building up. We're pretty close. Another couple of episodes and we'll be there. And we'll be talking about a couple ways to do jump scares, ways that people dislike and ways that people would like. Still technically a jump scare, but yeah. But yeah, so let's continue with this. So in the episode 19.hps file, I've also added some other lines of code that you guys might have noticed. There's stop sound and there's preload sound. Stop sound will fade away a sound. This is the proper way of fading out a sound if you want the sound to fade away. So this is the 100% correct way to fade out a sound. You want to use this line of code. So I'm not going to use it in this episode as a demonstration because the sound effect is really short, as you guys have heard it. And this would probably be useless. It's probably better used on a longer sound effect that lasts a little longer. So let me just explain to you guys really quick. This here, the first parameter is just the internal name. Again, this can be left blank, or you can change it for your own eyes, let you know what sound is going to be stopped or whatever. So this is good. In this scenario, it would be good to put an internal name. You can put like which sound will be stopped. So you can put like creepy sound sud 1. Of course, this can be left blank. This is no big deal. But stop sound stops whatever sound is currently being played. So you don't specify which specific sound. It just stops any sound being played currently right now. So you guys have to remember that. And then this second parameter is how much time it will take for the sound to fade away and completely be unheard. So make sure you change that to whatever you guys need. And yeah, I'm not going to be using that. Sound effects are, for me, I like to use sound effects as a short, quick thing to play, not the biggest deal. And I probably fade it out in when I create the sound effect or when I download the sound effect. I want that sound effect to fade away. So so by default it should already fade away, but you guys can feel free to use this if you have a sound where it'd be useful to use that. In this case, I don't really need to use it. It's kind of pointless for me to use it. Alright, so now, which is the other one? Okay, so we got preload sound. So this is a good habit to get into, which is to preload all sounds on the start of the map. Because if you have a certain level with an HPS file that will play lots and lots and lots of sounds, if you guys have a certain level that will play lots and lots of sounds, it is probably suggested that you preload all sounds, so that way when the player is loading into the map, the sounds will be loaded beforehand. So this is highly recommended if you do have a lot of sound, or it's just a good habit to get into regardless of how many sounds you have. This is always a nice habit, always a nice thing to do. It won't really hurt you or hurt your custom story. It may make the loading screen a little bit longer, but if everything's prepared by the time the player gets there, it's best for that. And I believe, not 100% sure on this one, but I believe it also helps players playing with a really slow computer. Having to load those sound effects on the spot could be a problem, and there could be a delay. So loading the sound while he's loading into the map is suggested, so the map is completely ready for him to play. So again, two sides to it. It's just a really good habit to get into from the start. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in here preload sound, and I want to preload our sound effect, creepy sound sudden 1.snt, and I believe that's all you need to put in. Let me just double check that. Yep, just that's all you need to put in, and this will preload that certain sound effect that's over here. And that's pretty much all there is to preloading sound. So good habit to get into. Highly recommend you guys do that. Whether it's on start, on enter, or on leave, it's recommended you guys load the sound, whichever place is applicable. We have yet to talk about on enter or on leave. Unless the player is going to go back to the map, we may not need to use on enter. But most custom stories do use on enter because majority of the time players have to go back to a certain area, and on enter would be useful if you want to do anything upon the player entering the place. So, but this is not the time for me to talk about that. I believe we're all done for today, actually, with the coding. So let's just go over one more time real quick. So when the player picks up the note, no message one will the function no message one will be activated. No message one is found down here, and besides the message being displayed, a sound effect called creepy sound sudden will also be played. And same thing goes for the audacity collide callback. The player collides with create timer area 1, and the function create timer will run down here. Create timer. Some things will be done other than the sound effect being played, but also amidst all this, the sound effect will be played. So we're going to play a sound at an entity. That sound is creepy sound sud 1 on the player, and the other variables we don't really need to talk about. And that's pretty much all there is to it. We're pretty much all done here with the coding. All there really is left is to test our custom story. So I'm going to go ahead and head over to the custom story, and I'll see you guys there. Alright guys, here we are in our custom story once again. Here, the ambience music is actually pretty loud. I've actually watched the last episode, the one with the music, and I noticed how loud the ambience music was in the video. And in the video I was talking about how low I thought the music was, but in the video it seems so loud. So you guys will probably encounter that when you actually start. So when you actually start doing some of this stuff. So yeah, so let's go ahead and pick up our note. And I believe when I exit from this note, we should hear the sound effect play. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, it's a loud sound effect. So as you guys heard, I heard the sound effect after we picked up the note. Let's go ahead and grab a key and move on. Open this door, throw it open, pick up the key, and go hide. Go in here, close up the door, peek at that guy over there. Let's just leave this open and watch him run towards us. Now we can go ahead and open this door over here. And if you guys remember, when I step through there, along with the timer and all of that stuff, we should also hear our sound effects. So let's go ahead and do it. And there it goes. That's both sound effects. So the music also stopped along with that. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to creating sound effects. It's pretty much sound effects are simple. It's just pretty much when you need to use them. To be honest, majority of the time, it's in an average custom story. If it's typically used to play sound effects to creep out the player, like yelling. You sometimes hear someone yelling in the distance, and those kind of files can be found at the root of the Amnesia. Amnesia already has some sound effects of like people screaming and like babies crying and stuff, like creepy stuff that just gets the player on edge. And like when like the player's walking through like a hallway, like over here, when the player's like walking through a hallway like that, and there's a script area there. You can make the script area play a sound effect that'll make like a baby cry in the distance. Those kind of sound effects are already in the root of the Amnesia, in the root of your Amnesia installation. So you guys might just want to look through those and just see which sounds you may want to use, or if you want to find your own online. That's pretty much up to you guys. Yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do next episode just yet. If you guys look at the top right, you can probably see it. If it doesn't say coming soon, you guys should probably be able to see what's coming next. I'm not quite sure. I'm undecided of the order right now, but I know I probably have to do force, an episode on just creating force to push the player or to push props. There's also I also have to really talk about level doors and changing the map without level doors. A lot of things still to talk about. Yeah, I mean, there's also the goal that most people want to reach, which is jump scares. And yeah, and jump scares are going to take several episodes. So I think I might leave jump scares for last. I'll probably do force. I probably do an episode on force and an episode on changing levels. And then after that, will probably be a couple episodes on jump scares, and then after the episodes on jump scares, it's gonna be episodes on pretty much more map editing and getting our custom story looking nicer, and getting things to make sense in our custom stories. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for this episode, guys. Well, that is it for this episode, guys. If you guys liked it, leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.